loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Rye and this is Rye's Reading Corner, and today we are doing a book unhaul. Again, if you are new and you've never seen my face before, hello, I'm Rye. And make sure all of you, if you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification button so you don't miss any of my content. So, as I said, we are doing a book unhaul today. This is my second unhaul, and what prompted this one was I had just recently bought a new bookshelf, and it really forced me to go through my books of books that I'm just never gonna read, or books that I just have been hanging on to but I really didn't like. I have trouble getting rid of my books. If you can relate, let me know down in the comments below. But this is much needed, and I have a huge pile of books. So I'm going to show you guys the books and then just explain why I'm getting rid of it. And if there are any books that you think I need to give a second chance to, please let me know down in the comments. So let's get started. So the first book I am unhauling is The Duchess Deal by Jessa Dare. I was going to do a readathon, and so I bought this book. It's a historical romance. I've never read historical romance in my life, and I just don't think I will be picking this up. And if I do, I can get it from the library, or they're not expensive, so I can just purchase it again. But as of right now, it's taking up space on my bookshelves, and I just have really no desire to read this, so I will be unhauling this, and I've never read it. So the next book I am unhauling is a book I have duplicates of. It came in 2 book boxes, and it's The Star Daughter by Shveta Tharar. This was really hard to unhaul because this is still a beautiful edition of this book. It has beautiful sprayed edges. The cover's really pretty. The inside is just gorgeous as well. It's signed, and yeah, it's just really, really pretty. But I had to decide which one I liked better, and I liked my other edition of this book better. So there's no reason for me to have 2 of them, so I will be unhauling this. This one hurts a little bit, but yeah. Really pretty cover though, but someone will be lucky to get it. The next book is a book that I read and just didn't really care for, and I don't think I will be reading any more of this series, and it's The Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. This was like a 3-star read for me. It just read very early, or like mid 2000s, and I just didn't pique my interest. If I continue this series ever, I would probably just get them from the library or an ebook version if I could borrow it. But I just personally don't need them in my collection because I don't love them. So I'm going to be unhauling this one. All right, the next book I am unhauling is a book that quite a few people liked, but I just didn't care for it. I don't foresee myself reading it or picking up again. I DNF'd it. And it is The Simple Wilds by K.A. Tucker. This is a romance story that takes place in Alaska, and it was one of the book choices for the book club hosted by Kirsten and Amanda, and I just don't think I'll read this. It has a trigger warning in here for me that I don't really like to read in books, and it has this in this book, so I can't foresee myself picking this up again. So as of right now, I am going to be unhauling it, and maybe in the future I will pick it back up again, but not gonna be reading this anytime soon. Book I am unhauling is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Wong. I just really struggled getting into this book, and I know it's super popular and I might get hate for this, but I wasn't vibing for me as a romance story, and there's a lot of other romances out there that I would like to read that are really, really good, and so this one I'm just going to unhaul it for now. Hopefully someone else will love it, like so many others do love this book, but this romancer just was not doing it for me. All right, the next book is another one that I bought and never read, and that is Darkly Dreaming Dexter. This is the book series that the show Dexter is based off of. I bought this more of an impulse buy, thinking I would really like it because I love the show Dexter, but I just don't foresee myself reading it. I don't like this cover. If I would want one of the original covers that does not have like the actual actors on it. I don't like those book covers. I just don't foresee myself reading this anytime soon, and I don't really have a desire to, so let's just get rid of it. All right, the next book is a huge book that I bought. I was gonna buddy read it with the group. I don't really sure why. It's not something that I think I would read, and it's so big, it's taking up so much room, and that is The Priority of the Orange Tree, and I spent so much money on this, and I've never touched it. This book is so massive. It's huge, and for me, I'm just not necessarily super interested in it, and there are other huge chunky books that I'm much more interested in that I would like to spend my time reading than this one. So it kills me a little bit because this book did cost a pretty penny, but I am going to get rid of it. All right, the next book is a book that I really disliked, and I vlogged it, and it is Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Laura Miracle. I didn't care for this book. I thought it was boring, and I hated John Green's part. I thought it was very, very offensive, and I just hated it, and I'm not even going to spend any time talking about it because it's terrible. All right, the next book is The Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick. This was a secondhand book that I got. Super excited to read this book because I absolutely loved the movie of The Silver Linings Playbook, and this book didn't do it for me. For once, I actually liked the movie better than the book, and that never happens. If you're not familiar, this is about a man who believed, like, he was put into a mental hospital and he is released, and he still thinks his wife is in love with him, and he meets up with this other woman, and kind of they help go through some mental health with each other. It was really disconnected to me. It felt like it was two separate books put into one, and it just didn't do it for me. And for once, I actually liked the movie better than the book, which never happens. All right, the next book is by an author that I really just don't care for, that I find problematic, and that is John Green, The Fault in Our Stars. I've had this book for a really long time. I'm just going to unhaul it because I will never read this again. And like I said, I find John Green to be a problematic author, and I have no desire to read it. All right, the next book I'm unhauling is another impulse buy that I made based off a movie, which I need to stop buying books that I've seen the movies or shows for because apparently I don't like them and I don't want to read them. And this is by Bad Moms, and it's the novel, and it's based on the movie, which I don't like. I like books that are based off a movie. I like it the other way around. And it's about I don't even know what this is about, just that it's about the movie Bad Moms, and I have no desire to read this. I literally have not even opened it, so let's just get rid of it. All right, the next book is a book that I rated pretty low. I think I rated it like 2.5 stars, and that is People Like Us by Dana Meal. This was like reminded me of Pretty Little Liars a little bit, but not as good. I don't like reading about girls being mean to girls. This is what this book relies heavily on. It was super predictable mystery thriller. It just didn't do it for me, and there's a lot of other YA thriller mysteries that I like that I'd rather put on my shelf than this one, so chucking it. Or not chucking it, getting rid of it, whatever I want to say. All right, the next book is a book that I found, again, super offensive, and it's with Stephen King, The Mist. This is a novella where a strange mist comes into a town and overtakes people, and this dad and son are hiding out in a grocery store. I have ranted about this many, many times. It was made my worst books of 2020. There's something that happens in this book that I find so distasteful and it's so unnecessary, and as a parent myself was just awful. So I will be unhauling this. I did not like this book at all. All right, the next book, the only reason I'm unhauling this is because I have a hardcover beautiful set of this series, and it's The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I would put this in my classroom, but I already have a set of The Hunger Games in my classroom as well, so I just don't need any more because I already have a nice hardcover set of it. All right, the next book is a book that I DNF'd. It was actually, I think, the first book I've ever gotten in a book box, and that is The Fascinators by Andrew Elopoulos. This is a fantasy story. I just didn't like this one. I could not get into the magical world. It confused me. They never explained any of the magic, and I read quite a bit of it, and then I just DNF'd it, and I just couldn't do it. But I did held on to it. I think the cover's really pretty. It is signed, and it has really pretty cover art, and I love this color of the green. But hopefully someone else will love this book and really appreciate it, because it is a really nice copy, but I just did not do it for me. All right, the next book I read a long time ago. I don't even know why I finished this book. It was when I was not DNFing books, and this is The Mars Room by Rachel. I can't even read her last name. I couldn't even tell you what this is about. I don't even remember. That's how unimportant it was to me, and it's just taking room up on my bookshelf, and I literally can't tell you anything else about that because I don't know. All right, the next book is another book I read for Disney Channel Games Readathon, and it's a book that I just didn't like. It's Dash and Lily's Book of Diaries, or Book of Dares, I can't even read it, by Rachel Cohen and David Levinthane. I just have no desire to read this again. I didn't think it was any good, and I don't want to read it. Enough of that. All right, the next book is a book that I really did like. I actually read it for when I was doing my master's. It was one of the books that I read for like a unit study I was doing for a literature class, and this is Being Jazz, My Life as a Transgender Teen. I really liked this book. I just personally am not going to pick it up again. I want to think I gave this 3.5, 4 stars. So I'm hoping someone else can use this, maybe learn something. And yeah, it's a really good book. It's about Jazz, who they have the TLC show I Am Jazz, and this is her life. I want to say up to maybe like 16. It's a little bit of an older book, so, but it was really good. Just I'm not going to read it again. All right, the next book is a book that I've literally had since high school. It is a classic. I'm just never going to read it, and that is The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I'm just not a classics reader, which you'd think I would be because I majored in literature, English literature in college, but I'm just not, and I will never read this again. There are some classics I will reread that I really like, and that's just not one of them. The next one is Girl Interrupted by Suzanne Kaysen. This is, there's actually a movie based on this, and it takes place in this 1967, a psychiatric ward type place where women were sent for all different things, having eating disorders, all the way to having feelings for another woman, and it's really sad, and it was quite interesting, but again, not something I'll reread, so hopefully someone else will read this again. All right, another book that I actually found the TV show to be better, and that is Orange is the New Black by Piper Kerman. This is her memoir. Again, this is based off the Netflix series is based off of this. I found this to be so anticlimactic, and no wonder the book is so different than the movie, because literally really nothing happens. The book, it's literally not like night and day, and this was kind of boring actually, and so maybe someone else will enjoy it, but just did not do it for me. The next book is a book that I got in a book box that I'm just not going to read. It's not really something I'm interested. Again, it's a huge book, and there are many other big books that I want to read, and this just isn't one of them, and this is The Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. It's really cool because there's an app on your phone that actually makes this cover like Moo, which is really interesting, but I'm just not going to read it. It's a fantasy story. It's just not a fantasy that I'm interested, did not pique my interest. So, and again, it's a huge book that's taking up a lot of room on my bookshelf, so I'm just going to unhaul it. The next one, again, is another book I got from a book box that, again, it just doesn't seem interesting to me, and it's The Bowmaker by Sarah Beth Durst. This, again, is a fantasy, something about a bone maker. I think someone told me that they read a book by this author before and it was really good. I just don't foresee myself getting to this. Like, it just would be really, really on the bottom of my list of all the books I own, and just, again, taking room on my bookshelf. All right, the next book is The Vow by Kim and Cricket Carpentry. This is based on the true events that inspired the movie. This book I was given to by my friend, and I read it, I think, back in college, which was a while ago. I don't care for the cover because it has like the actors and actresses on here. I'm just not interested, and I will not be reading this again, so I'm just going to unhaul it. And my last one I am going to unhaul was a book I read in high school or maybe college, that brought me back to my high school years, and that's Lauren Conrad's The LA Candy novel. Surprisingly, I didn't mind this as much when I read it, but I will never read it. I mean, it's not great reading. It was fun to read when I did it, but it was more just I read it because of Lauren Conrad. So, but maybe someone else will really enjoy this. So, I'm thinking of maybe doing Unhauling these book in like the little libraries, free libraries that people have been doing. Let me know if you would like to see a video of me going to the little libraries around where I live and unhauling them and seeing if maybe there's so many good books in there. Also, if there's any books in this pile that you think I should keep and don't need to actually get rid of, please let me know down in the comments below. So, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification button to take this journey with me. If you want to be my friend on any of my other social media platforms, all that information is linked down below. So stay kind, loves, and I'll see you next time. Bye! So pretty up from the minute that I met you.